Hello, manic.mercurian here. Today I wanted to share an observation that comes from my friend, my good friend, who is a Cancer Sun, Libra Moon, Aquarius rising. Um, he's still kind of new in astrology. He's been into it for less than a year, but he had an observation that I thought was really interesting. And I'm gonna preface the observation with something else I wanted to talk about, which is I love that someone. So I've been into astrology for almost 10 years now. September will be 10 years since I first took an interest in astrology, and over that 10 years, I've been pretty active. I've been actively searching for more information, constantly learning, observing the transits, etc. But what I love about it is, on the one hand, how complicated or complex astrology is. That's really great for me because I have an intellectual hunger, curiosity. I love, getting into the nuance, getting into details, and I love learning. And so it's great for a person like me that I can keep learning astrology forever. You really can't master it. You can always learn more. So that's really cool. But on the other hand, it's really fascinating to me that someone who just gets into astrology, even someone who just took an interest in it really recently, they can, because they have their own astrology, their perception is unique, just like mine, just like everyone's. And so they can see something or notice something astrologically that I may have not noticed in years of looking at astrology. So that's something that I just experienced again, which I so love that because the way he looked at it, I just hadn't thought about it, but it makes a lot of sense. Okay, so his observation was with the water signs, as you know probably from the title of the video. Um, so those, in case, for those of you who don't know already, the water signs, they're kind of animals or figures. Well, first of all three are animals. Pisces is the fish. Usually, it's two fish that are kind of following one another, encircling one another, chasing one another. But it's two fish for Pisces. For Cancer, it's the crab, and for Scorpio, it's the scorpion. And he noticed that there seems to be kind of a connection or a representation of the nature of these signs based on whether these animals are terrestrial or aquatic. So, for instance, like Pisces, ruled by the fish are fully aquatic, and in astrology, water kind of has to do with emotion and spirituality. Um, for the context here, we're mostly talking about emotion though. So, in the case of Pisces, Pisces is fully immersed in emotion. They're not really logical. They're more intuitive or spiritual, emotional. So that makes sense. Pisces is water. Pisces is fish. Fish is fully immersed in water. It's fully immersed in emotion. Cancer, though, he was saying it's kind of like both. The crab can be in either. It can be fully on dry land or it can be submerged in water. And Cancer, I don't think a lot of people give Cancer credit for this, but Cancer, it can be emotional and fully immersed in emotion and all those watery themes, but Cancer can be very pragmatic as well. There's a kind of, I don't know, conservative pragmaticism, or um, they can be very logical. I think the logic comes from a place of kind of intuition, which comes back to the water element, but it's still based on like reality, based on firm, grounded reality. So Cancer has both. They have that very emotional, watery side, and they've got that pragmatic, grounded side as well. They can be grounded. Um, and then that's all he kind of went into, but it made sense to me. I could apply that to Scorpio. Scorpio is the scorpion, so it's fully terrestrial. Even though it's a water sign, scorpions are generally on dry land. So that makes sense to me because Scorpio is constantly, I think, hyper focused on the physical plane, on things that are actually kind of earthy. So, like, they're very ambitious. They're focused on work, which is kind of an earthy theme. They're constantly kind of quantifying. And Scorpio is actually very analytical, even though it is, an animal sign. It's Scorpion. Scorpio has the intellectual side as well because it is so kind of hyper focused on reality and, I don't know, projecting and quantifying, a little bit like Virgo. So that makes a lot of sense. So I just thought that was really interesting, an interesting tidbit. And that kind of leads to the idea that there's so much information. Whoever there's so much information in the symbols that are connected to each sign. Whoever assigned each symbol or glyph to each sign is genius. There's so much information packed in there if you really get into it. I could do a video on that too, but yeah, I just thought I would share that, and yeah, and I hope you understand what I'm saying. That anyone can observe this. In 10 years, I never would have looked at that. I would have seen that. So thought that was really interesting. So yeah, I guess that's all I wanted to share. But yeah, as always, if you have any suggestions or comments, you can just leave a comment on the video, or you can email me at manic.mercurian@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.